Okay, this is Hideous C doing a replay analysis for Carbon Sage. This is Silver 4, Quinn top versus Darius. So I took a look at runes and masteries. I wasn't sure which masteries you were using in this game. For your runes, I'm guessing you're using your AD page, which is pretty heavy on attack speed. That's not bad at all. The only thing I would suggest would be trying a page that's a little more focused on AD, or maybe movement speed. But attack speed definitely works too. I think that Quinn gets a little more mileage out of damage and or movement speed. Longsword Pots is fine versus Darius too, although you might. It just kind of depends on how good the Darius is. You could also consider taking Boots Pots, because Darius's entire power versus any power he has versus Quinn is based in his ability to hook you in, and so Boots can give you a little bit more flexibility and power to stay away from his ability to do that. You can dodge in and out and try to bait it out with a little bit easier, with a little more movement speed. So, just something to keep in mind. Okay, so he just showed you what he started with. Okay, so right idea here, I'm going to show you how maybe you could have done that a little bit differently. So he just used his Q. Let me go back again. Okay, so he uses his Q. It's an 8-second cooldown. So I would have gone in right then, because what you want to be able to do in this situation is you don't need to wait until the minions hit each other, because what you can do is you can step out of the bush, auto attack. Your passive will hit him because that's who you auto attacked when you step out of the bush, and then you passive auto attack, and then he walks towards you. You can kind of angle yourself this way a little bit, maybe auto him one more time as he's walking towards you. Depends on how fast he reacts. But you can auto attack, and then let me start over. So you auto attack and then you step back into the brush. So you auto attack and hit him. That lets him know you're there. The minions will aggro you for a split second, but as you drop back into the bush, they'll lose aggro because they lose sight of you. Your passive will mark him, so you step out again, just to the edge of the brush. You step out again, hit him with your passive auto. At that point, if he's smart, he'll move like over here. And at that point, you don't want to chase him any further. Maybe if he's still in this area, you vault off of him and hit him again. But the last thing you want to do is to stick around too long and let this trade go on, because if his cooldown comes up and you're stuck in his minion wave, you're going to lose the trade. So if you step out, auto, step back in to drop the aggro, step out, passive auto, step back in, and then depending on what he does, then you decide what you do next. If he just moves away and is playing it safe, then just come up here, establish an aggressive position for farming, so you can stay on this side of the wave a little bit, so that if he wants to CS, he's going to have to deal with your auto attacks. But make use of the brush, because the one thing that'll happen is if you're drawing minion aggro a lot and you have an aggressive position, if you're autoing him, the minions will tend to start attacking you, and so you'll end up losing trades even if he never has a chance to come up and auto you if you take too much minion aggro. So you can use the brush to your advantage by stepping out, autoing, and ducking back into the brush to drop the minion aggro. So I would have gone in, because you wait here and now you have to walk out, which gives him a warning. He knows you're going to take all this minion aggro. You duck back into this brush, so now you do get your full combo off, but now you got to walk all this way while he's in melee range. You don't have any way to drop his melee range, and the minions are attacking you the whole time too. The thing you got to remember with Quinn is that Quinn is not just straight up stronger than most top matchups. Like if you go auto attack for auto attack, ability for ability, Darius does more damage than you do with his passive, with his Q, especially when he gets his pull. All of your advantage is in the fact that you have the ability to stay away from Darius. he can't close with you if you play it right. And the only way he can close with you is when he hits level 2 and gets his hook. And so once he hits level 2, you got to start playing careful and being aware of that, of the range of his hook. It's about the same range as your auto attack. It's just a little bit shorter, so you can dance in and out. And if he blows it, then you can go, and you can go in. Good. See, like that. Now you can go aggressive. Yeah. As soon as he does that, you can go. You probably could even have gone more aggressive than that. You could have used your vault there. You don't want to go full ham because he's got all these minions, but. Okay, so you're looking to freeze here, but you have too many minions. There you go. Yeah, you want to trim the fat on this a little bit. The way to freeze a wave in front of your turret is to make sure that there's a 2 minion advantage in the enemy wave. If there's ever much more than 2 minion advantage, if you're pushing past 3 into 4 minion advantage, then they're going to shove faster than you can last hit, and you'll end up in this situation. So you want to use your abilities to try to thin that, cull the herd a little bit. Oh, there you go. See, again, you could take advantage of that. He stepped in. That probably... I didn't see what abilities you had cooldown. You might have had a kill there. I'm going to look again. Okay, so you killed a minion, which is... That's, I don't know if you were planning that, but that was really smart, because you see him walking up here, and so you kill the last minion that's in turret range, and that puts him in it and makes him in turret aggro. Your vault is down, but the next thing that Harrier is going to mark is him. So you can hit him with your blind and just be stepping up here. Try be aware of his hook. Oh, never mind. His hook is on cooldown, which I don't remember when he used it. It might still be on cooldown from the last time he used it, so you can be aware of that too. So his hook is down, so you can hit with your blind. So all you got to do is stay out of his auto attack range. He might be able to hit you with his Q, but that's not going to be enough damage to kill you on its own. He doesn't have ignite. So hit him with the blind. Kind of be kiting around this way. And you'll hit him with your passive auto. He's going to be taking a turret shot and minion aggro, and then by the time your vault comes back up, you probably have a kill there. So be looking for situations like that. One thing that can be helpful with enemies that positioning is really tricky on, like Darius and Aurelia and Riven and some others, is to be using... attack move, and I can't tell if you're using attack move here or not. Okay, that's splash, good. That's fine. Except that you could have kept going there. Or wait, never mind, sorry. I got mixed up. Rek'Sai is on his team, so yeah, you're not going to keep going there. You do the right thing. Derp. I thought that was your jungler for some reason. He can't kill you here. So if he comes in, this is your kill. He's just going to be annoying though. So you don't even need to, well, yeah, you handled that fine, I guess. Okay, so look at the situation here. Your minions have, he's clearing, he's shoving. So yeah, you're going to need to use teleport to get back to lane. Good. But for attack move, what's so nice about attack move is that you can hit the A key, and that brings up your auto attack range, so you can see what it is, and it allows you to select a target ahead of time, and then you can move your cursor wherever it is you want to move next. So instead of right-clicking and having your attack, move, I mean, it's a little bit. I mean, you can do it with right-click in the same way. You don't have to use attack move. Attack move is just kind of nice because it shows your attack range. And allows you to be a little bit more accurate because you can see more easily specifically what you're clicking on. So in this situation, for example, you could use attack move. You could hit A and click on this minion. Quinn will move toward that minion, and then you can move your cursor back to here so that you're ready to move away and cancel the attack move. You can kind of do the same thing with a targeted ability like Vault. You can queue it up and then be ready to cancel it if it turns into a bad idea. You really wouldn't want to do that versus somebody like Darius, but somebody like Riven or Aurelia that has a dash and has a gap closer, you can queue up abilities like your Vault when if you are anticipating that they're going to jump on you, and You know, so as soon as, if this was Aurelia, as soon as she moves into range, you're anticipating she's going to jump on you to try to kill you. So you can queue up your vault before she even gets in range, before either of you are in range, so that you're not trying to react and queue her while she's like in midair or something. So you can queue up that ability, and as soon as it's in range, Quinn casts it. And you can always cancel it with a movement command. So it's kind of a it's not like a miracle cure or a magic formula for winning lane trades in lane. It's just a useful tool. So in this situation, I would be using attack move probably to target minions, so that my cursor, so I can use my, I queue up that attack command, a little bit ahead of time, so that I can have my mouse over Darius, or I can have my mouse over, where I want to be moving next. So it's just a little bit more fluid to stack up commands and orders, so you're not having to, click immediately and then try to move. Everything will. There's less delay in between commands, I guess, is almost good. Okay, good. Yep, good. Use your W to avoid face checking and throw the ward down. You can use your W up here, because by the time you got down here, if the jungler was there, he was already in attack range, so you can use your W a little bit sooner. Yeah, good. Vault away. Okay, yeah, that was fine, I guess. Because you saw Yi was coming. Nice. He's dead. Oh, that sucks. I don't know why Yi kept chasing. You had the kill, so all he was going to do was give Darius a free kill. Okay, so you know the jungler's down, you have vision on the mid laner, and you know your top laner's down. So yeah, you're safe to shove this. There's going to be nobody popping out of the fog of war to murder you. If you don't know any of those three things, though, especially with somebody like TF... Yeah, see, now he's looking for you. There he goes. Okay, so the thing you got to do there, I was a little bit incorrect in my assessment. So you had vision on TF, but if TF is 6, never, ever, ever stick around in a lane when you're low like that. Because if TF is smart, he's going to be always looking for that situation. He's looking for cleanup kills like that. That's how TF snowballs games and gets ahead. So you look at the map, Darius is dead, their jungler is dead, and if it's anybody else as a mid laner or anybody that doesn't have a global teleport like that, then you're safe to shove. But because it's TF and because he hit 6, I didn't know if he was hit 6 before he teleported, or before you were shoving the lane, if he was 6 the whole time, or if he hit it right at the end there, or what exactly happened. But you just gotta be aware of what the threat ranges of your enemies are, and if you're really safe to do an action like that. No, 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 no. Okay, so you just got to see this sooner. So you do have ult, but I mean you got to be thinking through this situation. Yi is, Darius is chasing Yi. Yi has the ability to get out of this situation. In theory, he's got. He's got his smite, which I think he's got the slowing smite, chilling smite. Yeah, and so he's got a slow. So if it's just Darius chasing him, Yi should be fine. He has the ability to get out of this situation. Darius has one gap closer, and Yi should be able to get out after that, between his abilities and his chilling smite. If TF comes up, Yi is dead. Even if you come and join, Yi is probably dead, because it's gonna be a 2-for-1 at best. Both of you might be able to kill TF together, or maybe Darius together. You might be able to get one of them, but you're not gonna be able to get both of them. Yi isn't 6. He doesn't have very many items yet. He's a late game champion. So you just gotta read the situation. Yi is either gonna be fine if it's only Darius, or he's gonna be dead if it's both of them. And all you're gonna accomplish is coming down and adding another kill to the mix, or adding another death to the mix. Maybe you pick up 1 kill, but 2 for 1 is not better than 1 for nothing. It's the same. And so in trade, you're kind of wandering down, and you're thinking about going, and you end up missing gold. And I was worried that you're going to keep going and miss a whole bunch. But if you ever have a big stack of gold here, this is free gold. This is free money. You've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 casters, which is that's almost 100 gold right there. And then you've got 2 melees, which is about 40 gold, 140, and you got a caster, which is like 30 gold or so. And so that's more than an assist's worth of gold right here that you can pick up for free. And if you chase down here, who knows what will happen? There's a good chance you don't pick up anything, because by the time you get down here, Yee's toast and it's 2 for 1, and then you die. And so you got free gold here and really, really risky gold here, and probably nothing. So your expected value here is much higher. And so you do correctly realize that as soon as TF shows up, or TF is left, and you come back, and you do pick up most of it. Okay, so in general, and as you refresh the ward, that's good. So as you are playing a lane like this versus somebody who is melee, you are definitely wanting. I hate when that happens. You miss vault or vault on a minion. You are wanting to look for opportunities. Oh. Nice, good work. That was a good read on that situation. You are wanting to look for opportunities to trade when it will cost you almost nothing and cost him as much as possible. And an easy way to do that versus melee champions is to wait until they go up in CS. So you're watching your minion's health. So for example, if he was still here, you'd be keeping an eye on this minion right here. And you know that Darius is likely to walk up and try to get this minion because it's the obvious target. So if you're, in this situation, if Darius was here, if you're like, you want to make sure that you're in position both to get your CS, so you're keeping an eye on the enemy minions' health levels and on your minions' health levels. So you're kind of be right here in that situation. So you're out of melee range of Darius, but you're in range to last hit your minions, and you're in range to harass him when he comes up to last hit these minions. Because when he comes up to last hit, he's going to auto attack, and auto attacking freezes him in place for a fraction of a second. So he starts his auto attack animation, and then as he auto attacks, he can't move or do anything. And so that's an opportunity for you to get at least 1 free auto attack out on him, probably 2 if you anticipate it correctly. With somebody like Darius, you got to be careful because he could immediately change his mind and do what he did a second ago there, and just go aggressive instead of last hitting. And you got to be thinking through enough to say, well, if he goes aggressive, am I going to be able to survive that? And you correctly, you read that correctly in that situation. He tried to kill you. You backed off. You kited him until he was deep in your minion wave, and he went too far. He overextended and he tunneled. And then when he tried to flee, you have an easy cleanup with your ult. So just when you're thinking about trading, you want to think about times that you can trade when it will maximize the pain for him, in that he either has to give up CS or he has to take punishment, or both, and minimize the pain for you, in that while he's busy auto-attacking a minion, he's not going to be able to auto-attack you, or try to move up and auto-attack you or use an ability on you. Okay, so Darius just teleported bot, and it was a total waste. So you need to type into chat Darius TP. Be looking for such situations like that. And now you're thinking dragon, because if they don't get a kill, the other reason a top laner wants to do when he teleports bot is to look for dragon. So you're pinging that. You're aware of it. In this situation, oh yeah, here comes E. So this isn't necessarily one you would need to TP into. Like, you don't always need to TP into dragon like that, just because something's happening. But you want to be keeping an eye on it. So in this situation, your team didn't really respond very well. I don't know if he wasn't pinging or what was happening, but your bot lane didn't respond. Xerath was there kind of, but he's low on mana. So in this situation, this is just a dragon that your team is going to end up giving up. or should give up. You kind of tried to suicide and steal it, which isn't really smart. But if your bot lane had been there, that would have been a such thing you could have TP'd into here on this ward and probably turned that around. But the other good option, of course, is to just push the lane, which you are doing. So you are punishing Darius for teleporting bot. And then you could look to clean this kill up potentially too here, as soon as that turret goes down. Or you can even just let your minions finish off the last couple of hits on the turret and teleport mid. And look to clean up TF here, since he's low enough that you might be able to just burst him down immediately. Okay, Brutalizer into Cutlass is a good move here, I think. The only other suggestion would be Brutalizer into Phage, or Phage into Cutlass. Darius is someone that you want to have a lot of damage versus, especially if you feel like you have a little bit of an edge. Which in this situation you do now that he went bot, but it was pretty even, if not a little bit in his favor beforehand. Okay, good. Nice. Easy money. Good roam. Darius will have a damage advantage on you almost always, just because, especially if he's building damage, because his abilities do more damage in and of themselves, and his passive, and he only has to get you down to about a third health, a quarter health, and you have to get him down to 0, because his ult is a true damage execute. So he wins a fight if he gets you down to a quarter, or if he gets you down to a third, you win a fight when you get him down to 0, is kind of the way you have to think about it. And so because of that, Darius is someone where, depending on how the lane is going, an item like Phage is pretty handy because it gives you a lot more kiting power, a lot more ability to dance in and out and harass, and it gives you a little bit more resiliency because of the ruby crystal part of it. So you trade a little bit of just straight damage of Brutalizer for a little bit of the resiliency that Phage brings and utility that Phage brings. And Cutlass is definitely an item you want to build on Quinn, but again, kind of on this matchup, you got to be thinking about it, and look what Darius is doing. You're not going to really be able to out-sustain Darius, because he just does massive damage, and so it's a situation where if you go in, it's pretty much do or die, one way or the other. You're either both going to be super low, or one of you is going to die. So, you know, it's not usually a situation where it's a lot of poking back and forth, and you need to make sure you have enough sustain so that your poke sticks harder than his does. It's a situation where you want to have resiliency and raw damage so that when the all-ins happen or the commitments happen, you make sure that you are coming out on top. And so again, Phage into Brutalizer would probably what I would do in this lane, and then build Blade of the Rune King as you're looking to be roaming and need the sustain and the burst of Blade of the Rune King. Again, it's not really what you did is wrong. It's more of just an optimization thing. Okay, I'm going to speed up a little bit here. This is good. You're looking to push a lane. You always want to be looking to push objectives. Okay. Yeah, use your vault way sooner than that. I think you had it the whole time. Yeah, just immediately. As soon as you get that last hit on the turret, just immediately vault off of him. Because even if you are able to walk away and get to your turret, and there's no turret here, so there's no way you're going to actually be able to walk out of that. But even if in theory you were able to walk back to a safe place before he killed you, you lose so much health in the process that that's not worth it, because then you have to go back to base and you lose map pressure. So just immediately vault off. That way you don't have to use flash in theory, or at least he has to burn his flash to stick with you, and then it's a flash trade. Good. Oh boy. That sucks. Twitch can clean up here, though. Big time. Turn on Thresh, turn on Thresh. Okay, so that was overall pretty worth. You know, in a perfect world, you would have vaulted off a Rek'Sai and wouldn't have had to burn your ult and flash here. And then you would have had all of that stuff up for this tangle down here. So you could have teleported, you could have ulted and probably killed Varus immediately with your ult burst. And then, you know, when the rest of them showed up, you would have had flash to either run up river or flash back to turret or whatever or you might not have even needed to, because Varus ran over here, and with your ult, you would have dashed to him and killed him here, and then with the movement speed you get from your ult, you might have been able to just leave. So that's just, you know, that just kind of an example of how a misplay here compounds itself into, you know, a situation that could have gone a lot better here. So Twitch did end up, you know, your team did end up winning that altercation, but you could have come out of it alive pretty easily and with a kill on your part as well. Or another kill. Okay, so at this point in the game, you know, 16 minutes in, it's mid-game, turrets have started to fall, people are roaming. At this point in the game, map pressure starts to become really, really critical. And so you are looking for opportunities to set the map up in your favor. So that means two things primarily. You're looking to make sure that the that the lanes are pushing toward the enemy base as often as possible, unless you have a specific reason for wanting them to push your way. So you're wanting, you know, top lane to be pushing, which it is. You're wanting bot lane to be pushing, which it looks like it will be here in a second. So that when, you know, something like this happens, Dragon starts coming up, the enemy team has to be thinking about that. They have to be thinking about, okay, so if we stick around for Dragon for very long, oh, top lane is shoving back towards you guys. If we stick around for Dragon very long, there's a big wave of minions over here that we're just going to lose to this turret, or perhaps even the turret dies to it. And so you can set the waves up in the other lanes to be kind of a sixth man for you. So almost like, you know, you have somebody split pushing that they have to decide how they're going to handle it. Good ball. Okay. Okay, I'm going to look at this team fight a little closer here. Okay. So anyway, so you can set the waves up in your favor as much as possible. You want to be thinking ahead a little bit, because you know Dragon's going to be spawning, you have a Dragon timer, and so you want to be thinking ahead. When Dragon's about 60 seconds away from spawning, that's when you want to start setting the map up for it. You want to make sure that this wave is pushing, and you want to tell your bot wave to get this wave pushing, or if you have to do it, try to make sure that all three waves are pushing as much as you can. And then your team wants to have vision control of this whole area. You want to have a ward here, ideally a ward over here, so that you have vision control of the area, so that by the time Dragon spawns, you've got waves pushing and you've got vision control, so that this team isn't walking into here with a big advantage. Because if you have wave control, then they're thinking we're going to lose minions / lose the turret to this big wave that is slow pushing here. And if you win the fight, you know, and then here too, but then if you win the fight, you're really set up to take Dragon, then just immediately rotate bot, because you've got a nice big minion wave waiting for you on the turret there. Okay. Let's look at this here. Okay, what? Oh, that was like lag or something. Okay, so you guys are mostly in position. I don't know what Twitch is doing. Why did Twitch leave? Okay, so they start Dragon and you're thinking, we gotta get going. Yeah, you guys just get really split up. So the risk with a fight like this is that, well, the risk and the advantage if you play it right with a fight like this is that they are all going to be channeling right up through this ramp if they want to chase you. You know, they kind of split over here because they were trying to kill you over the wall for some reason, but they have to come right up this ramp to chase you. And so in a perfect situation, you've got Morgana right here, and she's basically your only... yeah, so that's a problem with this team comp. You don't really have somebody that can just sit right here. So you want to wait. You want to try to get them to channel up into here until you have an advantage. So you let them come up this ramp, and then Morgana flashes and ults into the middle of the team and exhausts somebody, and then Yi follows up with his AOE abilities. He jumps in. Xerath is able to just sit back here and pound all of them with his stuff. And then you are able to come in too with your ult, ideally, and maybe even you've come around and flanked around this way, or you're coming over here because you're going to jump over the wall and kill Varus. You're looking for opportunities to flank into the back. You never want to be on the front line like this. You never ever want this to be you in this position. You want this to be Morgana or Yi or somebody else. At the start of a team fight, if you are on the front lines, you are probably going to die because most of your power is in your mobility and your assassination. So you want to be kind of hanging back a little bit, dancing in the background, waiting for things to get started, and then looking for a priority target that you can jump on and murder. So you get double CC'd, you vault out, and then that TF card hits you even though it looked like it didn't. So Yi died as well. I didn't see what happened to him. Yeah. The problem is you guys kind of split up. You don't want to stay together in that situation. You want to channel them back into this area so that as they're coming up the ramp, they're all coming one direction. You guys are all grouped and they're all grouped. With this whole splitting thing, you're kind of trying to fight over the wall and everybody's scattered, and Twitch is phenomenal in a group situation like that with his ult because he can hit every single one of them. So he's sitting right here and just pew 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 and hits all of them. I realize you don't have direct control obviously over all of that, but the thing that you specifically could have done better was making sure that you're not ending up on the front lines somehow, that you are back here or over here so you can jump over the wall, but putting yourself in position to flank and take out a priority target. Okay, this is pretty good though. So E recognizes that after that fight, they're really low, and you guys now have the numbers advantage and the HP advantage. So he's going in. That sucks. This might fail. Dude, this he has one gear. All aggressive all the time. Okay, I think this was the right call. Following E into the jungle wasn't really going to be gaining you anything. So yeah, pushing the objective. Yeah, keep it rolling. Same situation here in reverse as if you're trying to freeze a lane. If you can create a 2-minion advantage, then it will keep slow pushing. It needs to be like a 3-minion advantage when it gets to here. Or a 4-minion advantage maybe, I don't remember what the math is exactly, but it needs to be a 2-minion advantage here, and then 3 here I think, and then by the time it gets to here it needs to be 4. If you want it to keep pushing indefinitely until it hits a turret or a champion. But a 2 or 3-minion advantage is fine here if you just want it to push and make them have to pay attention to it. Okay, so look at this. So again, look at this situation here. You've got your wave is pushing already here. So you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 minions to their 4. So this is a big minion advantage. This wave will continue to stack and push all the way to this turret if you let it. So you don't really need to come here. By the time you get up here, these minions are dead anyway, and you wasted your time. So you don't really need to go top. What you want to do is start moving down toward mid, because this is where the next situation is going to be happening. You want to get some vision down around Baron, because that's the next buff that's going to be in contention. You want to let this wave just push. Just let it do its thing. It's going to create a nice big 6th man for you. And what you can do by actually helping it along, if you are up here, two things can happen. You draw attention to it, so now Darius is looking at you and TF is looking at you. So you draw attention to this big wave and they come up and deal with it before they really need to. And potentially you can push it too fast, and so that it'll hit this turret before the next wave comes. So in theory, ideally you want this wave, which is what's going to happen here in this situation. So this isn't relevant to this exact situation, but just to keep in mind when you're doing this in general, you want this wave and your big wave to hit like right here, out of turret range, so that your minions kill their minions without the turret pounding on them as well. So that when they get to the turret, all of your minions are just focused on the turret. But if you draw attention to this wave and shove it too fast, then they come up and deal with it, and you haven't really gained anything, and potentially you just have to run and go back to base. Where if you had just let it push, and it's your 6th man up here, because it's slow pushing on its own, then you can roam mid and you can start doing things. You can throw some vision down in their jungle because you've got the trinket ward, which is excellent. Get some vision down. You can spend that time doing that instead of farming. You can roam mid and look, because this fight is developing, you can kind of see that they're gravitating toward the mid lane, so you want to be there and be ready for whatever's going to happen there. Let me see, do you have teleport up? Okay. The only real problem with split pushing versus a team like this is that your team does not have a lot of disengage. So split pushing is an okay way to go, and you're creating pressure and you're drawing Darius up. But in this situation, you can split push kind of without split pushing. So again, if you set this wave up to just slow push, somebody's going to have to come deal with this. And even if technically they don't have to, if they're not really going to lose their turret, it's very likely that someone will anyway, because they're seeing all those minions and they're going to just be attracted to it like a fly to honey. And so somebody's going to come up and deal with this. And so you've got pressure in this lane without even needing to be there. So you can be presenting yourself in mid and have a 4v5 situation because somebody's going to go deal with this wave. So split pushing, the whole point of split pushing is I mean, getting turrets and objectives is almost secondary. That's gravy. The point of split pushing is to force the enemy team to make a choice. You're trying to make them try to decide between, do we deal with top lane or do we deal with mid lane? Do we farm this wave or do we save this turret? Do we kill Quinn or do we take dragon? Whatever the case is, you're trying to make them make a choice. And so you can accomplish that often by without even needing to be there, by setting up that wave like that. You already forced the choice. Somebody has to, they're already deciding, do we go farm this big wave or do we stack mid? So you gotta look at your team comp and look at the situation and say, okay, so is it worth for me to be with this wave? Am I going to be able to realistically get a kill and maybe an objective if I stay here? Am I going to be, am I going to gain more here than I would be by being there? Or is my team going to gain more by me being here than they would be by me being here? And in this situation, you are very unlikely to be able to kill Darius. He's built a lot of armor now, so he's pretty tanky. You are probably not going to be able to kill him. If you are able to kill him, it's going to be a long, drawn-out thing. It's, and by the time it's over, whatever happened here is over too, and it's a 4v4. And so you're unlikely to be able to do that. In all likelihood, what's going to happen is Darius is not likely going to be chasing you through this wave to try to kill you. He's just going to sit under his turret and farm the wave and keep you from killing the turret. So you're not really going to be gaining anything here. You don't really gain anything by being here at all. You can't kill Darius. You won't be able to get the turret. So you gain a lot by being here. And you could have started being there and you moving toward that direction all the way back here. And then Darius moves here to kill the wave because he wants to kill the wave and he wants to save the turret, and he doesn't know that you're not there because they don't have any vision. And so when this wave dies, or if you never present yourself there at all and you're just in the fog of war, he doesn't know that you're not split pushing until his minions get back in range. So he's gonna be thinking, okay, I know there's a big wave there and Quinn might be there too, so I need to go protect this turret and stop that wave from pushing. Where the whole time you're not there at all, you're actually moving down toward mid that whole time. And boom, you've got a 4v5 all of a sudden. But instead, your team can't win a 4v4 really. You don't really have any big advantages on a 4v4 because your team relies pretty heavily on getting picks and having advantageous fights. Because you don't really have a good initiating tank. You've got a lot of good ability to skirmish and get picks, but not a lot of ability to either disengage from a fight or to... oh, that sucks. or to initiate and reliably win a 4v4. Okay, so they kill Twitch, and at this point, staying here is the best decision now. Because, again, it's kind of the same situation. If you look at this, are they realistically going to be able to get this turret? Probably not. They don't have their AD... Where's Varus? Oh, he went back. Okay, he went back to heal. So yeah, so Varus is not there. So their only real turret, like, damage threat, really, that can do reliable damage to turrets is TF, and he can burn them down pretty quick. But you have pretty good wave clear in Xerath and Morgana, and so they're going to be able to clear the waves out pretty quick, so they realistically can't take this turret. And if your team plays smart, they won't be able to get any kills either. You know, there's a possibility that if something really dumb happens, that Thresh could get a hook and they could go in, and then, you know, TF can dive while Thresh is tanking it, and then Rek'Sai follows up or whatever. But even then, Yi comes in. So if your team plays it right, there's really no risk here. They're wasting their time. And so yeah, in this situation, staying here is the best thing to do for the moment, because you're keeping Darius busy now. So if you leave, then Darius is free to roam up, and then maybe you've got a situation because Varus could come up too, and Twitch is dead. And so, you know, you want to keep him busy here and keep this situation advantageous for your team. Right up until the moment where you can't see all three of them anymore. So right now, you need to be booking it, because actually probably a little sooner, because Rek'Sai was out of vision for a while. So as soon as somebody leaves vision and you don't know where they are, you need to leave. Or, you know, count down from 3. As soon as Rek'Sai leaves vision, count down from 3 or 4. And so you know 1, 2, 3, 4, and by that time you know that Varus is around here based on his movement speed, or here. And so then, yeah, then at that point you need to start leaving, because you don't have any vision in this area. You can back off to here where you do have vision, and you can see river, so you know they're not coming up that way. You don't have to just leave completely necessarily. Okay, good. Good, good, good. Yeah, staying here is kind of greedy. So, you know, in this situation, you got 1,000 gold in your pocket and you got a longsword, so you've got a phage, if that's what you're going for. I don't know what you're going for here, but you can buy a phage, or you can at least get a pickaxe if you're going for Last Whisper. So you've got enough gold to buy your next item and a potion or a pink ward or whatever you end up doing. Again, you're not going to be able to kill Darius 1v1 right now. He just has too many advantages. He's going to take too long to kill, and he has too many ways to stick with you and quickly burn you down. So best case scenario, you know, you fight with him and trade, and then you have to leave because you can't finish the kill before he could finish you. So you are putting additional pressure on this wave, which is not bad. Okay, so yes, you picked up a kill there, and that's good. In that situation, you guys got a kill. Yi died, so it was 1 for 1 though, so it's not really a great trade. Again, you just got to be looking at these situations. So you came back here and you started to recall, and let's back up here and we'll talk about this for a second, because this is again just kind of thinking through. Oops. Okay, so you're pushing the wave, and then you back off. And you start to recall. Okay, so you're starting to recall, and then you see Darius. He's still pushing. So you're thinking, okay, so I can catch this next wave. And there's not really any danger, because I can get away from Darius if I need to. You're looking, you see Yi kind of heading this direction. But you got to be thinking, you know, so you're thinking one step ahead. You're thinking that, you know, I can get this next wave as he pushes it up, and I'm not going to lose anything for it. But you got to be thinking more than one step ahead, because now now it's mid game and it's going to be pushing into late game before too much longer. And you got to be thinking more than just a few seconds ahead. You got to be thinking 30 seconds ahead at least, as much as you are able to do. So if you stay here, what's the best case scenario? Well, best case scenario, if he doesn't come, is that you are able to trade. Darius leaves and you're able to pick up another wave. Maybe next best scenario is that Darius is still there. You're able to harass him a little bit, get a couple of CS, and then leave. If he does come, then what happens might happen. So he comes and Darius kind of plays it really bizarre, and you two are able to flank him and pick up a kill. But at that point, you're in their jungle. All of them are alive. They don't have any other portions of the map that are really in danger, that are really being pressured, with a partial exception of this lane. This one will eventually be a problem, but it's going to be about 30 seconds before it really starts to be an issue for them. So Varus is heading down there anyway. So you're looking at this, and this is really the only other area of the map that they might be interested in right now. Dragon is down. There's no other turrets or big waves to worry about. So this is basically it. So at most, they're going to send one person to deal with this. So you have 4 people that could potentially be anywhere. You see TF, so you know where he's at. You know where Darius is at. You don't know where Rek'Sai is at, and I don't think you know where Thresh is at. So there's there's potentially 2 people on this side of the map. And so you just got to be thinking that through. Do we know where Rek'Sai is? What's going to happen here? So yeah, you go through this and you kill Darius, but then what? What does that really gain you? Even if he doesn't die, what does that really gain you? You can't pick up a turret off of that kill. You're not going to be able to do anything mid off of that kill because you're low. You get a kill, but a kill in and of itself doesn't really gain you anything. It doesn't help you win the game in and of itself. It gives you a little bit of gold, but you want to be looking to pick up kills and to make plays like that when you can press an advantage afterward. So right now, even if you pick up this 1v1 Darius kill, you're not going to be able to do much with it. Well, if you can pick up a 1v1 Darius kill, then you've created a 4v5, and then he's on this side of the map, and even if Rek'Sai is here, you could potentially pick up this turret. But you're probably not going to be able to get a 1v1 Darius kill. That's unlikely to happen, just because of how he's building. And if you do, it'll take so long that it probably will attract the attention of TF and Rek'Sai, and so they'll be able to get up here. And TF doesn't have ult, but he can get up here. By the time you kill Darius, he'll be able to walk up here. So you're just kind of trying to think through, can we kill this guy? If yes, is it worth killing him? You ulted kind of early there. It reduced your DPS by a lot. So you're auto-attacking, Yi goes in, you're ulting right here. You can't execute him yet, and you don't really want to be in melee range of him yet. He still has enough, he still has enough health that he'll be alive to do some pretty serious melee damage. So you want to stay in range for him here and keep auto-attacking him until you're ready to actually go in and finish the kill. Because yeah, now you're here, you bladed the Ruin King, but you can do that from ranged for him just as easy and still be auto-attacking. And then potentially you have your ult and you're able to kill Darius with just like your Q or maybe your execute. And you potentially still have your ult up for dealing with Rek'Sai. But yeah, overall, yeah, you really gain nothing here because TF is still pushing mid. Varus has now had a chance to push bot, so he's threatening this turret. You didn't put yourself in position to actually threaten anything on the map. You killed Darius, but you're going to end up losing a turret over that whole situation without having gotten anything in return. So instead, when you're recalling here, that's the right move. You recall, go get an item, get a ward or something. Yikes. Rek'Sai is nuts if he gets going. You get a ward or something, and then you come back, because by that time the wave is maybe to here, and you're able to, you can teleport if you have to, but you can save the turret. And if Varus is down here alone, maybe you could teleport there and save that turret. You got to be thinking of what, you just got to be thinking ahead. What are we really going to gain by making this play? And kills in and of themselves are not worth very much at this point in the game. They give you some gold, which is nice, but they don't really give you advantages on the map. Or they give you advantage on the map, but if you're not in a position to take advantage of the numbers advantage they give you, then it's usually not worth it. You want to save your ult and your flash and your Blade of the Rune King and your killing power for a situation when you can get a kill and then take a turret, or then take dragon, or whatever the situation is. You don't want to just be looking to make plays and get kills. You want to be looking to make plays and get kills at times when you'll be able to maximize the advantage you get from doing that. Yeah, this E isn't very good, sadly. He's using all of his really critical abilities at inopportune times. Alpha Strike is so strong because it makes you untargetable, so it's beautiful for trying to avoid CC and big damage abilities, and I don't think his Meditate reduces true damage, because I don't think anything reduces true damage, but Alpha Strike in particular, he used it twice on Thresh just for damage after he saw Darius coming up. I mean, it would have been better to hang on to it and save it to avoid his apprehend. Okay, so Dragon is up, and you have teleport. So you need to be communicating to your team that you have TP up, so that even though you're in the top lane, you still have the ability to get down to Dragon if necessary. But at this point, the enemy team has a lot of momentum, and so plus Twitch is. I didn't see when Twitch died. So you're not going to be looking to contest Dragon immediately. Morgana's throwing down some wards, so that's good. Okay, right now, this is what you want to be looking at. TF is out of position. He's overextended. You want to leave, one or two people here to defend this turret. But Morgana should be rotating up, and you could be teleporting in. Ideally, you'd have a ward somewhere in here that you could be teleporting to, but in worst case scenario, you can teleport here because your ult is back up. And Morgana is there. So that's an opportunity. You can start pinging like crazy and then go here and save this turret and potentially pick up a nice kill on TF. Okay, so yeah, now you have a numbers advantage and you know that they're all doing dragon, so this is the right move here. You want to be split pushing here. But you're keeping an eye on this fight, because if it looks at all like this is a situation where your presence would turn the tides of it, which it very well could, since you have your ult up, and you have a numbers advantage if you come. You being here could potentially be massive, so you want to be keeping an eye on it. Okay. But yeah, if you determine that your team can win it without you, which they didn't. But, so yeah, I think the better move would have been to teleport into this fight. I don't see where you had any. I thought Morgana came down and warded something. But even if you teleported to here, you can ult in. Or here. But I think your presence in that fight would have won that pretty easily. You guys would have had probably 2 or 3 people still alive if you had been there. So you did pick up the turret, but you can set the wave up to push the turret again and get damage on the turret, and then you can go win this big fight. And yeah, objectives over kills, but it's not just kills, because as soon as you win this fight, you can do a lot with that. You can go mid and you can shove this turret because you've killed all 5 of them in theory, or 4 of them because TF will be back up. And you've got 2 or 3 people still alive, and ideally at least one of those is Twitch and you, who has a lot of pushing power, so you can go push mid and then pick up a turret. So you win a fight, get dragon, and then potentially get a turret. Or you win a fight and get dragon, which is already a win enough, especially as they're starting to stack dragons. So getting a turret is not bad, but winning this fight and securing a dragon would have been better. I know I'm focusing a lot on kind of the big picture, and so I'll try to go over some more specific Quinn things here too. Overall, your Quinn mechanics aren't bad, so there hasn't been any really big glaring things to really talk about. Some minor things, but so I've mostly been focusing on kind of the big picture of the game. I'll speed up a bit. So I'll go back over and maybe look at laning phase a little bit more and talk specifically about Quinn combos. Oop. Okay. So right now, so I just said that, but I'm gonna talk about a big picture thing again. Right now, you guys have one ward on the map. And it's deep in their jungle, which is kind of useless. It lets you know that blue buff is gone, but this doesn't gain you anything since they have all the momentum right now. This team is ahead. They're not way ahead, but they are ahead, and they're feeling ahead because they just want to fight here. So they are ahead, and psychologically they're thinking they're ahead because they just want to fight. You can kind of count on that. If a team wins a big fight like that, and unless they've been really down for a while, and so they know that they're not ahead just because they want to fight. If a team wins a team fight like that, they're going to be thinking, okay, we're the best. We have the advantage. We just want to fight. What can we go do with it? So you can kind of be counting on that psychological phenomenon, that's what's going to happen. So this team is going to be aggressive is what that ends up meaning. They're going to be pushing onto your side of the map. And so having wards on their side of the map is kind of useless since they're not going to be over here. There's nothing to see. And so you want to have vision control of your side of the jungle. Dragon just went down, so you don't really need to have ward control of this side necessarily. You want to have control of this side and of kind of the major traffic areas. So maybe you want like a ward here, but yeah, there's really nothing happening past that really you need to worry about. There's no wave, there's no dragon, so it's unlikely they're going to be tooling around on this in this area. They might be coming up through here, and they do come up through here. So you'd want a ward here, you want a ward maybe here, and then you want a ward like here, here, and here, and ideally on Baron as well, because Baron is the next big objective. They're looking at turrets, they're looking at mid turret because they've got a wave, and they're looking at Baron. So you want to have ward control of the contested area of the map because they have the advantage and they're pushing. You want to have ward on your side of the jungle or your side of the river. If you have the advantage and you're pushing, you move that ward control to their side of the river. If Dragon is down or if Dragon is up and that's the next thing, then you control this side of the map. If Baron is up and that's the next thing they're likely to go for, control this side of the map. You can also look at turrets. If this turret is probably their next advantage because, you know, just the way the waves are pushing and the way the map is set up, and especially if Dragon is up, then yeah, you want to ward control this side so you can see them cutting through your jungle to get up to this turret. So you want to think through what the momentum is, what the next objective for the enemy team is, and then you want to be carpet bombing that section of the map with wards. So you have, where do you have 2 wards down? 1 ward. Maybe somebody's blocking one. Oh, there. Okay, yeah, so again, this ward doesn't really do much for you. Nice. Ah, that was close. That was the right idea. That was good. So yeah, when TF comes at you, you did basically the only thing you can do. You blind him, and then yeah, you try to get away, and that was a pretty clutch trying to vault over the wall. Unfortunately, Darius's bleed got you, I think. But that was a good move. I mean, the only thing that makes a situation like that better is that you guys should have had ward control in here sooner, and so you would have known what was happening, and you would have had a better idea of where they were. Had a ward here, so you know that know how many people are still in lane. A ward here, so you know how many people are cutting up through here, and you just have more knowledge, so you can know that yeah, I could come up here and fight this, but I better not because they're all collapsing into this area, and so and they're all coming up here. So if I'm here, then I get closed in on here, and I get closed in here. So I don't want to be there. You know, maybe I come here instead. But probably not even that. Probably I just back out of the jungle completely. So mechanically, you know, in that situation, you did the right thing. You ended up dying anyway, but you made the best of that situation. But again, kind of thinking ahead, big picture-wise, needing to have vision control, asking your team to get wards down, Morgana has a Sightstone, so that's good. Sometimes you can't always count on that depending on what level you're at and what people are thinking. But you can be reminding people to upgrade their yellow trinkets. You've upgraded yours, which is very good. But you don't want to just put wards down. You want to put wards down where they're going to be the most useful. And that usually means in big traffic areas. Like this area here, and in that situation here, and then over here. Okay, yep. Yep, yep, yep. Nice. Nice, good read. Nice positioning too. That was really clutch. The only thing that, again, I don't even, in general, in that situation, I think you played it just perfectly. But the only other thing to be looking for when in a situation like that was you're out of vision, you've got your combo ups, you're waiting to jump on them out of the fog of war. But to wait for them to use a key ability. So if you could wait until TF has just used his pick a card, so you know his stun is going to be on cooldown, or something like that. Especially for people with gap closers. It's not quite as critical for TF, although it would be nice to know that his stun is on cooldown. But you can wait for them to use a key ability and then go in so that you have even more advantage. Okay, so split pushing here is okay. You're taking a lot of pressure and advantage off the map. But you also got to be thinking that your ult is down, and so your ability to run is pretty limited. That's a little mechanical thing. You got to make sure that you're not using your vault on somebody that has an interrupt on it. So Roxai has a knock-up. Darius, if you vault into his pull, you won't vault off. It'll just pull you right into it. I think of other people. There's a number of people like that have a clutch CC ability like that. So you got to wait until they use that to vault off. Good flash. Waiting until TF chose his position to flash in, and then using that. Oh, wow. You probably should have tried to dodge anyway, juke one way or the other, but you did manage to outrun it. So now you burned both of their flashes and they're really chasing. So in theory, your team is now shoving mid, and you can be pinging that. You can be pinging, because even if these guys catch up to you, they've already committed so hard to this that, so they do kill you, but yeah, your team could have picked up mid here. So as you're running like that, that was an okay time to be split pushing. Ideally, you would be waiting until your team is in position to be splitting, because again, you're looking to make the team make a choice. And you kind of made them a choice, and they really committed to coming down to you. So they made a choice, but it was kind of the only choice. Like, when they look at the map and they're thinking, okay, what are the interesting things happening on the map? Well, the only interesting thing is that Quinn is pushing bot. So let's go deal with that. So they sent 3 people there. And your team wasn't in a great position to punish that. So, your team could have been doing this way sooner. They could have been doing this when the action was happening right here. And so then they get this turret for free, basically, because now it's likely you're going to trade turrets. These guys are going to get this turret. Chances are high. And you guys are probably going to get this turret. So you trade turrets. Instead, if they had pushed this turret sooner, then, they're here, and maybe they do kill you, or maybe they're looking, it's not worth chasing Quinn because we're about to lose a turret. And so we need to just back off. So you want to be waiting and telling and communicating with your team as much as possible, but waiting until your team is in position to make the most of that play you're making, that split push you're doing. So if you find yourself split pushing and you're the only logical thing on the map for the enemy team to come to, that's a bad split push. You want to use your split pushes in times when the enemy team has to make a no-win choice. I'm so confused by this Yi. That sucks. In that situation, you trying to defend that turret is kind of a suicide mission. You want to just stay in range for him and try to delay them as much as possible. Okay, that's good. You guys rush Dragon after that. That was good use of that opportunity. Somehow... Wow. You didn't deserve any of that. Good. Good. Yeah, but now, yeah, now you keep going. Absolutely keep going. Now keep going! Okay, so right now, this is going to slow push, or eventually it will. But it probably won't because there's a cannon minion here. It probably won't until after it hits your turret. So it's going to be a really long time before that starts rolling their way. So yeah, you just want to just keep pushing this. There's nobody on the map. There's no objectives to really go get. You want to use this opportunity, this ace. The best use of this ace is to get the lanes rolling their direction and to get vision up. So vision in your jungle, again, around Baron. Get vision around the Baron area so that when that becomes a contested objective, you've already got vision set up. And you want to get the lane rolling hard their way so that they have to respond to it. Pushing past river isn't worth it. You'll pick up a couple of CS, but you can't realistically get anything. You've already set the lane up good. You've already set it up so that it's going to be rolling their way. And pushing any further is kind of a waste of time. So, again, it's like that was okay overall. It's hard to say without being able to predict the future in that situation. So if you push it past river like that, and then leave before the next wave gets vision of you, you've already drawn Varus up here. And yeah, you were able to pick up a kill on him, and that's certainly not nothing. But you lost an inhibitor for it, and your team was already down in numbers. And so, since your team was down in numbers, if you had been here, would you have been able to save the turret? I don't know. That's honestly hard to say. And so... these are just the things to be thinking about. It could very well be that this was the best situation. You made the best of a bad situation by getting the kill on Varus and drawing attention down to this lane. So yeah, I'm not going to say that that was the wrong call necessarily, but it probably would have been better to push it to here, leave before the next wave comes up and gets vision of you. So then that way they don't know if you're still pushing and Varus comes up and to deal with the wave. You use that time to get vision control in their jungle, in this area of the map. And then as they push back down mid, then you're in a position where you can maybe come in and flank. And maybe Twitch doesn't just immediately die because you're right here. And so when TF goes in on Twitch, you're in position to jump in and kill them with your ult. I'm guessing that's game, because it ends here in 60 seconds. Or no, not quite game, I guess. Okay, I'm just going to speed through this just to see if there's anything interesting that happens, but... Yeah, the second it looks like they're going to get Baron without you being able to actually fight them while they're trying to take Baron, you just immediately back off. This fight is not a good idea. Oh, wait. Wait, what? Why does no one have the Baron buff? I'm so confused. We're doing Baron. Okay, that's just like a spectator bug. Okay, so they have Baron. And you guys coming in after Baron is down, you're already down, like they're already ahead, and now you're coming into a situation where they have vision control of the area likely, and they have Baron buff, so they have all the advantages, and so you fighting them is almost certainly not going to work out. Although, as I say that, your team did manage to pick up 4 kills. You're going to lose a lot for it, though. Actually, that might be game. So, yeah. In general, that managed to work out. It shouldn't have worked out. I'll just be honest with you. That should not have worked. You guys should have gotten ace there. You managed to win the team fight. But then, yeah, you gave up the game for it. So, especially when you have inhibitors down, you got to be really careful about committing to a fight outside your base, because minions will win the game. So I'm going to go back a little ways here and talk about a couple of things. Let's look at some early lane real quick. So this is after that level 1 altercation. So you're low. Darius is always going to be looking to kill you, or looking to go aggressive on you. You do not want to use your... Oh wait, never mind. That was fine. Yeah, using your vault there was fine. I forgot he was only level 1 still. So that's fine. So yeah, this is good. So you're kiting, you're vaulting. Ideally, you don't let yourself get in a position of that, but... But yeah, you're trying to kite him back and distract him. The only thing to keep in mind right now is that he has an advantage right now, and so what you want to start doing in this lane is focusing on CS. You need to beat him in CS first and foremost. If you are able to get a kill on him, that's gravy. That's awesome. But if you are able to beat him in CS, that is how Quinn reliably wins lanes every time, is by able to out CS and bully people. Because you might not be able to get kills on all your matchups. Darius in particular is honestly one that's a little tricky to reliably get kills on if he's smart. Because if he's dumb, he'll just jump on you and go super aggressive, and you can take advantage of that. If he's smart, he'll just play safe and and punish your mistakes. So you want to be focusing on winning in CS. This is the kind of situation here what I was talking about. So you're looking at him, and he is, you're watching the minions, you're waiting for his auto attack animation to start, and you want to be in position to punish it as soon as it does. You don't need to be this far back. He can't do anything that far back. You have vault, worst case scenario. So, oh, see, that's a free auto attack right there. You're in range, free auto attack right there. There's going to be another one right here. Free auto attack right here. He's busy doing this. He can't do anything. You have time to get 2 auto attacks, and that gets him down to half health. And then you have a health advantage. Now your minion's up, so you want to take this. You're not gonna trade CS for trades. But the second that goes down, now you have nothing else on your attention. There's no other minions that are about to go down. This one on your side is about to go down. So you're watching Darius. You're watching what he's going to do. You know he's going to want to go for that minion, so you're staying in auto attack range. See, free auto attack right there. And he missed it, so you got another one. So you don't need to be doing this at all. He misses the pull, so that's a big deal. You hit your blind. Now you can go aggressive on him. You hit your passive auto. And now you CS. You can't kill him. You've already got him low. You've got an advantage. So you turn to CS. So you're thinking ahead. You're thinking, I'm going to auto him, and then I'm going to turn to CS. You're not autoing him and thinking, okay, what am I going to do next? You're thinking about the next attack you're going to do. Here comes a canyon minion. You've got this minion just last hit, so you want to last hit that. And then this canyon minion is going to be low, and you can get an auto attack off here. This is a free auto, and then you can auto attack this. At this point, you're trying to read the wave. You've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and a cannon versus 3. So you want to you do want to freeze. Freezing is what you're going for. But right now, this is too many to freeze with. You want to be using you want to use your blind on the wave to thin the herd a bit, so that it pushes a little slower, and that when it gets to here and you're in the next wave, it's only a 3 minion advantage instead of a full wave advantage, basically. Okay, so you're backing off, backing off. Last hitting, that's fine. Darius is gone. Again, you want to be thinning this wave so that it's not clearing your minions before or faster than you can clear his. So you want to anticipate this a little sooner. Darius left, he almost certainly warded, so you can kind of time that in your head. He only has a trinket ward, so you can glance at the clock and say, okay, his ward's going to be down at about 4 minutes 30 seconds, 4 minutes 40 seconds. The thing you're trying to avoid with freezing, obviously, is you're trying to avoid it being pushed into your turret so that you're not able to... if it pushes in the turret, then you have to focus on CSing only. If it's frozen, you can focus on last hitting and harassing. Okay, so you did something good there. I want to point it out. I don't know if you did it on purpose or not, but you did good. So you are, you're last hitting. You can see Darius is going to go for this, so you can. This is a free auto attack again here. You don't need to. You didn't need to auto attack that minion. And again, ideally, if you'd set this up a little bit better sooner, it wouldn't be shoving so hard. Okay, so you see him doing this. Okay, so he apprehends you. Now, if his axe twirl does more damage on the outside of it than it does on the inside. So if he ever does pull you in, it's kind of it's a difficult situation. Again, at this level, you can probably rely on just waiting a beat, because if he immediately uses his Q and does the axe swirl, whatever that thing is called, decimate, then you want to stay in melee range actually while he uses that, and then vault out, which is what you did, because then it does the shaft damage instead of the axe head damage to you, and then vault away. As you climb the levels, Darius's will get smarter, and they will actually wait until you try to back off before they use their Q. And so then you probably immediately, it's kind of then you just want to get away as soon as possible and minimize the number of auto attacks he hits you with while he's waiting for you to try to get away. Okay, so here's that situation where you killed the minion and the turret attacked him, and this is probably a kill for you again. So auto attack, you could hit him with your blind, and then he'd be at like 100 health maybe, but instead you're kind of nervous and you focus on CS. Giving up this one CS is worth it for a kill. You don't want to give CS up for trades. Giving it up for kills is just fine. Speed up a little bit. Good. Now you can CS this. Okay, a little bit slow. You're looking at these two minions. This is what he's going for. There's nothing on your radar that needs to be auto-attacked right now, so you're moving up in range. He's low enough. You have kill pressure on him, so if he makes a mistake, you can kill him. So you want to be looking at this. This is a free auto. Then your passive will mark Darius because you autoed him. Or if it's on cooldown, maybe it wouldn't, but you'd still get a free auto attack. And then he's looking at this minion. Free auto here. Free auto here. You're letting him see us for free here. And often as possible, Quinn's strength is not just in ability for ability, damage for damage. It's in her ability to do damage from safety, from range. You want to be pressuring as often as possible. So you never want to leave Darius in a situation where he can just stand in a minion, right up at his minions and see us for free. He should always have to be thinking about that and trading for that. You always want to be in a position where you can punish him for walking up to CS. That's annoying that your auto attack goes off before. It's because Valor marked this one while you were in the air. So that's kind of an annoying interaction. It wouldn't have gotten the kill anyway, but so you did the right thing here. So anyway, that's mostly what I wanted to point out is the opportunities you have to freely harass. Rek'Sai is kind of wasting his time here. He can't kill you with one Q, so you can just, again, even if he hits you with another one, you're fine. So you don't need to stop recalling here, really. You can keep recalling, make him do it. If he gets really dumb and tries to dive you, which he might, then you have a free kill there too. Okay, so you're going to TP back to lane. Look at this just for another couple of seconds. Now you are forced to CS. Not quite on that one. Okay. Yep, you know he's in the bush, so you're positioning here. You throw a ward down there. Again, I think I mentioned earlier you can use W sooner, so you're not accidentally face checking even when you don't mean to be. Good. Last hit. Slow it down. You're looking at this minion. You're thinking, okay, he's about to auto attack that minion to last hit it. I want to be in position and using A click so that I'm going to auto attack him the second I get in range, and then I can back off. You got a last hit here. You see Yi coming in, but you also see Rek'Sai. Although Rek'Sai might not see Yi since he's in his subterranean form. You're apprehended. Good. You're auto-attacking. You blind. You want to blind sooner. I don't see if it was on cooldown, but you want to blind the second he does that so he doesn't get any free auto-attacks. You move in. You know Rek'Sai is here, so you want to kind of be positioning up onto here. So as you're chasing, you want to be kind of chasing up this way a little bit so that you're minimizing, so you're not going to be putting yourself right in position for Rek'Sai to kill you. You don't really need to back off and get behind him. In fact, you probably shouldn't because, well, no, you just don't need to back off and get behind him. You can stay, if you position up here and you're chasing up here, then you're in position to do damage to him and still be a threat to Darius. So yeah, this is a double kill if you play it right. For you. So you got that. And Yi is gonna die. At this point Yi needs to back off. This is so greedy. He has double buffs. So greedy. I didn't even see how he killed him. So anyway. Okay, so overall your Quinn mechanics are pretty good. You clearly know her kit fairly well. You're thinking of the right kinds of things. So I talked a lot about big picture and I went over some Quinn mechanics there. The other thing that you need to be very aware of is TF. You want to be trying to pressure TF as much as possible. You want to be trying to, not just TF, but TF's lane. So if you get a chance to pressure this wave, always look to go mid, because TF is looking to shove his lane and then use his ult to travel around and do stuff. So you want to be looking for opportunities, so as soon as you hit 6 especially, to be shoving and roaming. Shoving, and even if you aren't able to pick up a kill on TF, you can pressure his lane and force him, force it to his turret so that he can't just ult away and leave. Whenever you have a TF on the enemy team, that's a big deal. You want to try to be exerting as much pressure on his lane as possible, so that he's not able to just leave, to shove and leave for free. The other thing is to make sure that this area is warded and this area is warded. Xerath, that's more Xerath's responsibility than yours early game. But as it moves into kind of later laning phase, you can help out with that because TF has to walk up to at least here to ult top and here to ult bot. So you can help keep vision there. So now that you're 6, you're too low to immediately go down, but you have potions, so you can be chugging potions. I wouldn't be using your abilities here. I would just be auto-attacking this and then just immediately leaving, because this is a great time to go. You're either thinking that TF is going to come up and kill me, or I can go try to kill TF. You don't have quite enough mana for your full combo. So you need to be thinking, yeah, more in this situation, TF is going to try to come kill me. You saw him pushing the wave. That's what he's looking to do, is push the wave and roam. So it would have been better to leave those last 2 CS. Just let those go. Cut your losses and run. And then I don't know if you were window shopping or what, because you reacted really slow to that. You do enough damage that you actually almost, so you survive his initial combo. Oh, canceled the auto. No. I mean, you force him to pop his ghost, but... So yeah, I mean, in that situation, that's probably, again, it's hard to say. You got him so low that if you had reacted sooner, I wonder if you would have been able to kill him. It would have been really close anyway. So... But in that situation, I can understand why you tried to run, and it did force him to pop his ghost, so that's not nothing. Okay, I will call it good there. Thanks for the opportunity to take a look at the game. I hope that it was helpful. Please feel free to let me know if there's anything I could have done better or that I didn't address that you were hoping I would. Other than that, thanks for the opportunity, and best of luck.